Hi, everyone, and welcome into Rounding the Bases Live, presented by Enterprise Bank and Trust. I think I'm maybe like 2 minutes late, which in this world doesn't matter. If it was the network TV world, I might get in a little bit of trouble over that one. But you know what? In this day and age, it's okay. And I'll be honest, the reason why I'm a little bit late today, no technical difficulties, knock on wood, nothing like that. I was just busy chatting with my guest offline. She's a good friend, and we'll bring her in just a moment. But want to thank yet again, another day of this awesome partnership with Enterprise Bank and Trust. Hashtag no stopping you. I know how busy they all are right now with all the loans and everything that's going on. And so I so appreciate their support, not of me. I mean, yeah, I appreciate that too, but of just this effort to get messaging and tell people stories and help others out in the community. And whether that's watching live right now or whether it's watching it later, the links that'll be up on LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook, doesn't matter to me. I just hope people are hearing this. They're seeing this. My ask of all of you is just one, share with anybody you know. Let's reach as many people as we can, help out as many people as we can. And two, if you have some interesting suggestions, shoot them my way. I think I'm officially booked for the rest of April, which feels good. It means that there are great stories to tell, which there always are. It means people want to be involved right now. I want to thank my friends at Casey Cattle Company. Check them out on their social media at Casey Cattle Company or their website, caseycattlecompany.com. Locally owned up in Weston, Missouri. Veteran owned and operated, led by Patrick Montgomery. The doorbell rang this morning, and it was my delivery from Casey Cattle Company. So we've got this fresh Wagyu beef ready to go. And just check back every day on their website. They're actually going to start adding staff, or they're thinking about adding staff, I should say, is what they told me, because the demand is so high. They ship to all 50 states. And if you look on their website and it says sold out, just keep checking back. Little hint, Tuesday's usually a decent day. That's where I found everything to reload again. I got my order today. So I can't thank everyone at Casey Cattle Company enough for their service to our country. And all of them served the United States over the years. And now what they're doing here in the community. Speaking of people that are all about serving, I want to add right now into the program my guest, the Chief Wellness Officer at Your Wellness Connection. To say that she is a chiropractor is very true. To say that she's only a chiropractor is about the most false statement you could ever make. Dr. Michelle Robin, my friend, Miss Positivity, how are you doing in the midst of all of this?
Well, hey, Joel, I would tell you that I'm off the ledge. People would ask me the first few weeks how I was doing, and I'm on the right side of the ledge. And it was a tough few weeks, not for just for me, but for most people on the planet right now. But you know what? I've pivoted. You know, I had Haley Blandwash on my Rhythm and Resilience series that comes up at 12:30 right after this today. And I loved her saying today, it's not her saying earlier this week, it's not about the loss, it's about the pivot. So I'm pivoting. I'm making sure my team is as safe as possible. I'm staying as safe as possible, my family. The good news is I'm an essential business. The really, really good news is most of my business is wellness, and that's not essential right now. It's essential to be doing that stuff at home, and I'm happy to give any guidance I can on that. So, Joel, I'm on the right side. I'm not even on the ledge anymore, and I'm so grateful for that because I really was on the ledge.
Which I think this will make sense. I didn't even think that it was possible for you to be on the ledge. So I think that certainly is a sign of how stressed all of us are. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying, Michelle, that you have it all figured out, but your perspective is always so good, so deep, so well thought out. You're so full of energy and emotion. And so it's just a reminder that we're all going to have moments. And you know, we all maybe can't get to where Michelle is in this moment. That doesn't mean that Michelle Robin isn't going to have a tough moment at some point later today or whatever it is. I want to get into that in a moment, but what I want to ask you more, I've been thinking about this. We've had a couple of guests on a baseball show that I'm doing every single day. It's a national baseball show, and a couple of like major extroverted, big life of the party personalities. And my question to them was, how in the world are you surviving not being around people? You are one of the great huggers of all time. You put so much value in that hug. And I'm a hugger too. But I know when I walk into your office or if I see you at an event that there's a hug coming 100% of the time. So how is someone like you that feeds off of that energy emotionally and physically doing with isolation?
Well, that is a wonderful question. I'm pivoting. I'm hugging people a different way. I'm hugging them with notes. I'm hugging them with sending out quote decks. I'm hugging them with phone calls. I am hugging them by taking care of myself. I went back to my practice yesterday and started seeing patients again because people are in physical pain, and so I've had to pivot again. And I'm a basketball player. You may not know that. I'm a little short, but love the game of basketball. So disappointed, of course, that we had to cancel the basketball season, playoffs, Big 12, and March Madness. So I'm pivoting, and it's hard. I'm going to come totally clean. I did hug somebody this week. I hugged 2 people this week. And sometimes the price of the hug is you've got to weigh the consequences. So someone lost their father. I was with her when her mother died 25 years ago, lost her father. I had to hug her. I mean, I just had to hug her. And then, one of my dear friend's son committed suicide a while back, and this is an anniversary week. And so sometimes you just have to do it. But I want to tell you, I've only had about 5 hugs in the last month. And it's really hard when you average, 50 hugs a day. So, but I'm pivoting, Joel, and I'm finding a new creative way to hug people.
Well, your energy, I believe in life is providing others with that energy, with certainly helping people. And that's not just in, by the way, how far am I going to be set back with all the work that we did of me seeing your chiropractor? We were friends before I started seeing you, but we did like 6-8 weeks worth of work, and I was never feeling better. Now do we have to start all over again?
You don't. And hopefully, Joel, you're doing some of the homework. You're doing some of your spinal hygiene, right?
Let me interrupt you. You know me well enough. I'm not doing anything. I need to. This is like when the dentist tells me to floss and I say, okay, I'll do it. And then I don't.
Well, can you do your wall angels, right? Because if you're sitting more, most our guests probably are sitting more and sitting in awkward positions. So they can do some little wall angels and open up the pecs and strengthen the back.
That's not bad.
Yeah, you just have to figure out how can you add a minute or 2 into your daily routine each hour of something good for yourself. Whether it's drinking a big glass of water, whether it's taking your vitamin D, doing wall angels, maybe it's doing some foam rolling, maybe it's taking time to tell your significant other how much you appreciate the extra effort they're going through, or how they're trying to stay out of your space while you're doing these broadcasts, or your kids. There's so many little ways we can deposit energy into people's soul. Not into their body, not into their bank account, but into their soul. How do we do that more and more, Joel? So I'm going to tell you, Joel, just your awareness, and this is from one of my friends, Wendy. When you're aware, you're halfway there. We have planted enough seeds, and you have watered them enough that they're still percolating in there. So don't worry, Joel. We'll get right back on track.
It was my chance to basically that was confession, is what that was right now. And I'm not
forgiven.
Thank you. I'm not essential. Like I feel okay. I'm probably like most people right now. I'm hanging in there and all that. By the way, for anyone that's watching, we'll have Michelle till just about 12:30 because I got to get her to her next show. She's in demand in part because I'm talking to you here like a she, like third person. I think you and I are very similar like that. We don't sit still well. We need purpose. We need to be active, and quite frankly, that's helped me get through this. I'm an out of work, unpaid baseball guy right now, and I've never been busier, and that's really given me a lot of purpose. But if you have questions for Michelle, if you're on Facebook right now, you can just pop those right in there, and they'll pop up on my screen. And if we can get them up, we will. But let's talk a little bit about mindset. And I think coming up maybe next week, couple weeks, I'm going to have John McGraw on, who I think and we'll talk about performance mindset. I think all of this is so important. We're all, maybe this is the wrong way to put it, but I was going to say we're all wired differently, or maybe we process differently. We're different types of personalities. We have different things going on in our lives. So I know there's not a catch-all secret here, but what are you telling some of your clients in terms of getting through these days, which, for lack of a better term, feels like Groundhog Day?
Joel, I appreciate that question. It's a wonderful question. We're all similar, yet we're different. We have different life experiences that lead us to have the different tapes. The good news is I've spent a lot of money on therapy, and I feel like I have cleaned out my soul of some of the shame and the guilt. It's still there. I want to tell you, I had some of that first week. That's probably what was boggling me down the most. Am I making the best decision? Am I being an effective leader? And I would give myself a C. I believe I'd give myself a higher grade now, but that first week when it changed so fast, caught me off guard. So Joel, a couple things I'm doing. First of all, I've been doing, and I started it. I started it in December 28th of 2019, and I've always wanted to write down gratitude. MK Mueller's a friend of mine, and she's like the gratitude queen. And I have to tell you, I have horrible penmanship, Joel, in case you don't know that. You don't want me writing you a note. Horrible penmanship. And the other thing is I'm a little OCD. I want to be able to read it, but I can never write it well enough to read it, and I want it to be nice and neat. So I found this book called The 5-Minute Journal, and I bought it, and I gave out several of them, and I recommended it, and I never used it. Okay, sat by my bed for 8 or 9 months. And then someone said, by the way, they have that in an app. And so I downloaded.
I told you it was in an app.
Okay, so you told me 5-Minute Journal app. Thank you so much, because then I started using it. I downloaded it after we met. That was about May of last year-ish, I believe, sometime around then. And then I didn't use it until December 28th. And now I know. And so for people is start listening to the nudges. Your soul is always whispering to you. This is the right street to turn on. This is the right car to buy. This is the right person to hang out with. Say yes. So that's one thing, is listen to the whisper. So I've been doing that. So I've been building a rhythm with that. And I'm still using that, by the way. I'm not 100%, but I'm getting it done 5 out of 7 days a week. So one is I'm counting my blessings, and I'm also thinking about what's going to make today great. And it could be the little things that's going to make the day great. Today, one would be having a great conversation in connection with you. The other thing, too, is I'm keeping it. You can't really see it, but I've got a little stickum here. I'm part of the Hellsberg mentoring program. And one thing that Barnett taught us is to dig for the gold. What's the pearls in the conversation? So hopefully our listeners today have a pearl that they say, you know what, I could do that. And so I've been trying to capture the pearls of the last month. We've been in this Groundhog Day for a month now, Joel. Actually, a month ago, yesterday was when I had to start to furlough my team at Your Wellness Connection. But a couple things I wrote on my pearls list. One is make the time count. And you and I are doing that. We're saying, how can we make the time count? I'm going through some to-do lists that I've had on there. I've created a new series called Rhythm and Resilience. There's just things I've been doing. I'm cleaning up my to-do list. The other one on here, Joel, that is focus on what you can, not what you can't. Just like what I can eat. I can eat more blueberries because it's that time of year. I can talk to Joel and connect via social. I can call my family. I had a John O'Leary. You might know John. He's a St. Louis man who, we had him on to launch my show, and he talked about being burned over 100% of his body. And he had to, for 5 months, he had to lay on his back or his stomach to get all the grafts done on his skin. You know what? I can endure being in my beautiful home, having my dogs around, getting to talk to great people like you. So that's part of the mindset. It's also being around the conversation. You've got to be filling yourself with shows like this, podcasts, songs, music, things that help lift your spirit. If you're listening to Who Done You Wrong songs all day long, you're going to be thinking about who done you wrong.
It's a great, I think everything's a matter of perspective. Mm-hmm. And I think there are always, the one thing I'm saying too is that there are people that it would seem are more fortunate or have more right now. That doesn't mean that they're immune from this. Doesn't mean that they're not going to bed every night thinking about, can I keep my employees? How am I going to hang in there? I talked to the CEO the other day, I won't mention a name, of a big company, and they're essential business, and they're doing really well. But the trickle down of their clients not doing well is eventually going to mean they're going to have a rough Q2. And he's got to start worrying about, what am I going to do with some of those employees? He also knows that when this all comes back, he'll be able to bring them back and even hire more. but that's weighing on him. If it's weighing on him, it's weighing on his employees. I want to ask you about communication right now. So you talked about having to furlough and I know how deeply you love your employees too. I know that when I walk into your Wellness Connection, the vibe and the energy is one that reflects you as a leader, and you see it from everyone there. What are the best ways to lead right now when everyone's on the edge?
Well, I think the best way to lead now is the same way it is to lead all the time, is transparency, communication. I think being authentic and just truly, here's the deal, Joel, all of us have one way out. Okay. We may get out of here different ways, but we're all going to check out sometime in our life. The question is, how much life can we live in that little dash? Right. And so, for me, I just want to know that whether it's 1 year from now, 6 months from now, 2 days from now, I'm showing up the absolute best I can today. And my best today is different than my best yesterday and different than my best tomorrow. You know that more of anybody than being in baseball, right? 300 is a good batting average, and that's 1 out of every 10 hits. Does that sound right? I know this much about baseball.
Three out of every 10.
3 out of every 10. And so if I can hit the mark, and part of that true is you've got to really love yourself. And that's what's hard, is you got to have the courage to uncover those things that keep you dissonance from yourself. And when you start to love yourself, it's easy to love other people. And I would say my biggest challenge for me is thinking about having the courage to, as I'm feeding my soul differently now, my pre-life, pre-COVID, during COVID, and post-COVID are all going to look different. My pre's never going to be the same as post. If it is, shame on me for not using this opportunity to really dive into my soul and find the gold of what I'm here to do on this planet.
Well said. I have a comment that I'm seeing on Facebook, and I want to bring it in because it hopefully it doesn't. You're okay with age and all that, but yeah. I know we talked on my audio podcast. You were a guest of mine maybe over a year ago or whatever. Oh, by the way, I can't remember now if you told me about the 5-minute journal or if I told you. You might have told me originally, and then I had an executive in town that told me about it and sent it to me. And so I had the book, and it was kind of like this is what happened. So I told you about it because I was really excited. I'd read about it, and I'm like, I'm going to start this, but I can't read my writing. And I think you said, well, I can't either, but check out the app. So I think actually you told me about the app. And I will say, I'll take some advice on this right now, that I've gotten away from it from the last 3 weeks. I was doing it religiously every day for about 6 weeks, and maybe 8 weeks, and it felt good. And I've just sort of gotten back to waking up and looking at my Twitter feed in the morning, which is not a smart thing to do. So I'm guessing I probably just need to get back into that rhythm.
There you go. That word rhythm. So Joel, when this happened, and by the way, I know you're going to mention my friend Teresa. Hey, Teresa, thanks for tuning in.
I was going to pop this up there. See?
Yeah. Go class of 84. Let's do it. So, that's what I kept hearing. And that's that nudge. I kept hearing, Michelle, you've got to find a new rhythm to be resilient through this universal reset. And so rhythm. And I had to go back to that. I want to tell you, I was doing it probably 6 out of 7 days prior to COVID, missed a few days because I was sucking my thumb, and then came back to it. And I'm probably back at least 5 out of 7 days. So I would say, and it really needs to be the first thing you do, because if you're like me, all of a sudden you check your text messages and your social and your emails, and then life takes off. And so Joel, I'm just being totally transparent here. I have, even in my phone, get up and do a little bit of meditation, do your journal, go pee, drink, go poo. I like to take care of all my business because that's good for your immune system. And then I drink a thing of chlorophyll most mornings. So people have got to find a rhythm. It's, please, if you want to do one thing to thrive through this time, is find a rhythm.
This is the third show I've done this week where poop has come up. And the first 2 were my baseball show, and they were in less tasteful form than that, but they involved pranks and guys being guys and stories. So this was the most tasteful one. So thank you for that. We all got to do what we got to do, but I did rhythm, no question about it. And especially right now where it's so easy. Let me it's not even a pivot, but let me lead you that direction. Rhythm right now at a time, we're getting back to Groundhog Day, where everything just seems the same. Like for me, I've been getting into even something as simple as, and you and I were actually on a Zoom call earlier this morning. Like, this is the time I'm putting out the little promotion for the show. Later today, around 4 o'clock, I'll take a clip and I'll promote and put that out there. I've got this here at this time, and then I got my baseball show here, and here's open for Zoom calls and all of that. And then when it's done, it's like, I'm going to just chill out here a little bit. Mm-hmm. I will say that I've never been a guy that's understood weekends or nighttime, because I've always worked at nighttime, and I've usually worked on weekends. So my day off during baseball season might be a Thursday, or it might be a Monday. And I find myself now more than ever not wanting to be available to talk business on the weekend or at night. Doesn't mean I won't, but I find myself really craving that free time or that moment to recharge, because I have to have it, because I know I'm stressing myself out staying so busy all day long. Does that make sense?
It does. And what a gift for you to be able to do that and spend time with your wife and your kids, Joel. And maybe who knows what rhythms after this. But I do know that we need to maintain a sleep rhythm, just like we need to be brushing our teeth rhythm. There's just things we need to be doing. I'm enjoying getting to go for a walk middle of the day, because typically my life is self-care in the morning, okay, and then working. I'm going to do this, self-care, working, and then family time. And now it seems a little bit more, okay, self-care, family time, working, self-care, family time, working. So maybe we won't settle for work being consuming our life in the future, Joel. Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be really nice. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm wired that way. I can rewire myself that way. I do believe that is true. I just think, and I'll get back to the word of perspective. Everything in life is always perspective. When you can remember that, back to what you were saying before too, oh my gosh, this is so rough and I'm not getting paid, or I'm not this, I'm not that. And then you just sit there and think, but what about that nurse or that doctor or that healthcare worker that's having to run in every single day, and then the stress of coming home, not wanting to infect their family and having to worry about every little thing, right? I mean, and for them, maybe it's someone that's in a much worse, I always thought about that, like, okay, fine, I've got this game is terrible tonight, but you know what? There's someone overseas that's watching and doesn't care that it's a bad game or that there's a rain delay. They're just happy to get a piece of home. So there's always a different way to reflect upon that. How do you envision, if at all, your business changing when this is all done, or will it?
It'll change. I will change. I have changed. I am changing. So there's the leadership of your own life, and there's a leadership of your business and your all that other stuff. So Joel, that's a really great question. First of all, I think self-care is going to become a priority for people. One way I want to tell you, I send out much love to my brothers and sisters who are on the front line. I'm on the back line trying to keep them in the front line. And I know that I know the stress. My initial stress was my thought of me bringing home COVID to my family, but too scared to say leave, because gosh, what if I get COVID and I die alone? So that was the selfish part of me. Now that I'm in my right mind, I went back in seeing patients, and I'm doing everything I can to take care of this host. You're hosting me today. Okay. I've decided I'm not hosting COVID in this body, and I don't want to host it at my center. So we are doing everything we can to stay safe, but I'm also doing everything I can to not even, it's like a mosquito. Mosquitoes love some people and some people they don't. Yeah. Part of it is that some B vitamins. And so I've decided the COVID's going to say, oh, sister, we want none of you. So that's part of that mindset. So to answer your question, Joel, I believe people are going to care more about their well-being, as we should be cared already. And I'm open to whatever the nudge, whatever the universe says Michelle's mind to do. I'm totally okay with that. My life has been far better than everything I mentioned, and Teresa from Parsons will get that. It is far better than I could have ever imagined, even on my worst day.
All right, two final things, because I gotta cut you loose in 3 minutes of that. It's like I am with the baseball players. I'm like, hey, can you do this interview? Well, we got stretch in 2 minutes. Okay, I won't make you late because I'm not paying your fine. Mm-hmm. So, in my weekly audio podcast, I ask every guest the 3 baseball themed questions: biggest home run hit, biggest swing and miss, and what is small ball. I haven't done this, and now here we are on episode 19, I think this is, and it just dawned on me yesterday that why don't I ask every guest the small ball question, which is
Mhm.
a project I'm working on anyway, because I think small ball today may or may not be different than the answer that you gave me during quote unquote normal times. Small ball, the little things that add up to the big things. They might not be sexy, so to speak, like the home run. What is small ball to you right now?
Small ball to me right now is showing up and being present with people. Here's what I love about Zoom is you can't be on your phone, you can't be on your email, you're really soul to soul with somebody. So the small ball right now is enjoying these little moments because you're not sure if you're going to get that moment again and when and if. So that's the small ball right now, is being as present as I can.
I like that, making the best of the situation, taking advantage of what the situation has presented you, right?
Exactly.
And the last thing I'm going to do, I just reached over here. I got this this stack of cards.
I love that.
Right on the one side, they say small changes, big shifts, quote cards. Well, that's the main part of the deck. But then, yeah, you got drmichellerobin.com. I should have put that one up there too. Small changes, big shifts, and then they have different quotes. So, should I just pick one? You always like me to do this. I'll pick one for you.
Yay, because I don't have a deck in my new fancy office I've made.
And I'll pick one for me, so that we can read these.
And we'll go side and yes. Well, and the small changes, big shifts. How do we put the odds in your favor? Okay, I will take the one on top.
Okay. All right. It's got this beautiful sunset.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I want that. This is a good one. Dr. James Parker. Don't let the negative few affect the positive many. That is in play right now.
That is in play. That's one of the kind of founders of chiropractic and help push the movement. And that's just a reminder, you're going to have to dial some people down. You're going to have to dial down the media. You're going to have to dial up the love, dial up the connection, dial up this fun with your family Zooms. So what's your say, Joel? What's your card you picked?
Mine comes from some doctor by the name of Michelle Robin.
Okay.
It's the T factor.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right? You want me to read it?
Yeah. Tenacity, tribe. What? Tell me. I just
tenacity, tenderness, and tribe. Tell me about that one, and I'll cut you loose in 30 seconds.
This is perfect for today. We've got to be tenacious in these times. We've got to be thinking about our tribe, and our tribe is shifting, and you've got to pull those people close to you. And there's an article by a guy named Dunbar, or a video, that we really can only manage so many relationships. So really make it count, reach out to the people that you say you love and truly show it to them. I don't think we have to be in person to do that. I love you. I appreciate you. I see how you're showing up in our community, helping us through these times. And so we all need to be each other's cheerleaders.
It is 12:30, just a second ago. I'll let you go. I love you. Thank you. And that's it. I got more to say, but I got to let you go.
Okay. Bye, pal. See you soon.
All right. That is Dr. Michelle Robin. Look, anybody that knows her knows that not only is she the real deal, but that she's just amazing. I mean, she's just good to everyone she helps. How can you not find positive energy from her? And I learned, plus she's encouraged me to take vitamins, vitamin B, vitamin D, all that kind of stuff. I was never doing that before. Stretching, I got to work on that one, as I just confessed earlier in the show. I hope this was beneficial for everyone. It's going to be a mix of guests. And so I've got guests lined up right now that are doing unbelievable things in the amidst the face of adversity here, like Andy Rieger, who we had recently. Just by the way, got my masks that we ordered and bought online from Made in KC the other day. So Tyler Enders was a guest on the show. Thank you to them. They just came in yesterday, and I was able to get out to the store early this morning, and I was able to wear my mask and feel much safer. And so that was really nice to be able to get out and do that. Just got some coffee from Bo Nelson of Valmaist, and he was a guest, and they're doing incredible things. So we've got guests like that. We've got guests like Michelle that I think can really provide a lot of insight, inspiration, and hope. And then we've got specific guests that are, last week we had a panel on PPP and small business loans. And by the way, I'm hoping that gets refunded pretty soon. But there are so many things that we could do here with the show. I could not do it without my friends at Enterprise Bank and Trust. So I appreciate the partnership with them and supporting our community. And I'll remind everyone again, got that delivery in this morning from Casey Cattle Company. Wagyu beef up in Weston, Missouri. They deliver to all 50 states, veteran owned and operated. So check them out online. If they're sold out of anything, just check back in a few days. Tuesday's usually a good time to do that. As they reload, get that order in. Trust me, I can promise you my family loves it. It's worth it. So that is going to do it for, it's amazing. I think this is week 4 of Rounding the Bases Live. Got a stacked show already lined up for next week. I hope that you all have a safe weekend, a healthy weekend. Take care of those that you love. And my only ask again is share this. Share the link when it pops up on social media. Certainly it's there. We're live. You can see the link afterwards. Let's see if as many people can check this out as possible. I'm Joel Goldberg. Thanks for watching Rounding the Bases Live, presented by Enterprise Bank and Trust. Have a great weekend, everyone.